It's unbelievable, the effort you have taken to reach Alonisos from so far countries. I feel, I really feel, how can I say, such appreciation for your efforts. That means, for me, it is the best proof that you want to learn this healing methodology. It is a methodology which is blessed. It's a methodology that the world does not understand yet, but I believe soon will understand the importance of this healing methodology for the whole world. You see, it's interesting. I'll tell you something. I did not know how to start this course. I did not know what to say. And usually, I don't know when I start, and I don't know what I'm going to say, usually. And there were different ideas in my mind. And I will reveal to you now something which I'm doing the last few months. I'm studying something else, not homeopathy. So it's my time, I think, to study astrophysics. I'm studying, I don't know. So it's interesting that what we have been teaching all along, that the human being in its structure, in its deepest building blocks, is fields, is force fields. Hahnemann called it the vital force. Astrophysics call it fields of energy. You see, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. You see, when I found out how much they have confirmed what we have been saying for 200 years, I was really amazed, because what they said is this. You know, a molecule is formed by certain groups of atoms, okay? And the atoms are formed with the nucleus and the electrons. And of course, by the time we arrive at the atom, we understand there is some force there, because the electrons are not particles only. They can be particles, they can be force. And then physics have gone to analyze what is in the nucleus. And the nucleus is proton and neutron. And they go further to analyze what is consisted of this proton, this nucleus. And what they find out, small particles, like quarks, bosons, etc., which are carriers of energy. and they go further to analyze. And I believe all, you know, especially the Switzerland people, know about the CERN, the experiment in Switzerland. There is an experiment in which they try to find out the most small part of matter, which is of the order of 10 in the minus 30, 10 in the minus 30. And they have arrived at a point where they want to examine the smallest particle of matter which carries energy, which is called the Higgs particle. Higgs. Okay. So therefore, in this experiment, they are trying to see if they break it, what is going to appear after that. What will have after Higgs? And there is a big expenditure, tremendous amount of money has been invested to find out, and they call it the particle of God. Now we are going to find out what is the particle of God. But as the physics has progressed before the experiments, they have found out that the building blocks of life are force fields, are energy, pure energy. The building blocks of life are pure energy, but it has been proven that how from this kind of energy or immaterial substance we arrive to that state in which we are having flesh, energy, and intelligence. So when I saw that, I said, but we, as homeopaths, we claim this since 200 years, and nobody pays attention. We are talking about a vital force, that means fields of energy in which consist our bodies, and nobody pays attention. And I feel that there is this time in which physics or science will prove very clearly what we have been trying to do all along. But according to my understanding, to my experience, what physics are finding out at this moment is still a very gross aspect of our building blocks. You see, the whole structure of the human being as it is consisted of our spiritual part, of our mental part, of our emotional part, you can imagine that all this very complicated energy complex, that there are, most probably, there are carriers of intelligence. There are small particles of what they call small particles in physics, which are full of consciousness, full of intelligence, full of emotions. You see, we are much further than what physics is discovering at the moment. We understand that the basic structure of human being is not of the flesh. This is the most gross, the most irrelevant. The building blocks, really, what really we are. We are energy fields. So in quantum physics, which is the avant-garde, the most progressed physics at the moment, quantum physics, they say we do not understand. We know quantum physics is a fact, but we don't understand how this is acting. How is it possible? And they don't pay attention to the fact that when we sleep, we just come out of the body and we go all over the place in another world, which we call the dream world. And sometimes this contact with this world has information for us, which is very crucial. Why? Because it is an information like someone telling you you are poor and you don't have any money. And then information comes and somebody tells you, you know, you won the lottery, you have 2 million now in your bank account. You say, oh my God. You see, we're poor, no energy, nothing. Gives you a fantastic information and brings you back all your energy. You say, oh my God, now I'm going to conquer the world. This information, from where we get it? We get it from another level of existence. We get information which is good for us, for every one of us. And it is different for each one of us. What we need, we get it during that time when we roam about out of our bodies. And this is quantum mechanics. This quantum mechanics says, how can you be here and there at the same time? And they don't understand. They know that this happens. You can be here, and at the same time, you can be on another place. And they don't understand. He says, how is that possible? And we know that this is something which happens every day, every night, when we roam about. And it happens also. It's very interesting. So you see, because as you know, I have been, since my childhood, I have been trying to find God and find what is really happening in this world, who we are, what are we, why we are here, what were we doing here. So I met a lot of spiritual people in my search. So between these people I met, there were some people, and here stories, that some saintly people could come out of their body and manifest in another place, on another country, on another dimension, on another... and people will have the experience of meeting such saintly people and do not understand what's going on. And now physics has come to explain this. Quantum mechanics is explaining this, how a person can be in one place and manifest in another place as well. Through what? Through the energy body. So these essential things of life, which is our experience, everyday experience, were ignored by medicine, by conventional medicine. Conventional medicine dealt only with the flesh. And they tried to solve the problems of health and disease by dealing only on a material, purely material level. It is time to wake up and understand that the human beings and everything that exists, actually, its primary origin is fields of energy. So the Indian philosophy, for instance, they say this since many, many years. Also the experience of saintly people is such that confirms this fact. You see, so here is, you have come to learn how to heal people, how to help people in distress. And what is the distress? The distress comes when you meet with a disaster. You lose your loved one. You lose your child. It's a disaster. And this disaster has such an effect upon your body that next day you are paralyzed. Next day you have a heart attack. Next day, so how is that energy? So therefore, what is bringing you back to health is an information which is positive, and what takes you to hell is an information which is negative. For information. But what's information? It's an energy. It's not something physical. I did not hit you. You can hit me in my head and nothing may happen. But you say a bad word for me, especially if I think I'm very great. I say, yes. You say, oh my God, I'm finished. Because somebody gave a negative information to me. So between negative and positive information is the main reason for disease and for becoming sick today. So Hahnemann came and said, okay, wait a moment. The primary source of your problem is the vital force, is the force. If that force is affected, then you can become sick. Then how can you become well again? By giving an information to the source which is positive. And which is the most positive information? The most positive information is an information that carries the idea of love. You see, the simillimum, what we call the simillimum in medicine, is a quanta, is a batch of lit energy of love. But how this love has come? Because somebody who has studied and studied and studied and studied, but wanted in order, he studied in order to help people. He learned the materia medica, the theory, the repertorization, etc. And he took the case of this person, and through the information that the person was giving out, discovers that that little energy which is the most similar. That means it's not something opposite, it's similar, is close, is love, is a love carried through your interest for the person to be cured. That interest that you have is put into your decision that this person must get this remedy. And it's beautiful. Because the moment it touches, the remedy touches the tongue, there is a reset of the whole organism. As if there is such a strong positive information. It says, that's what I needed. And the organism says, oh my God, I'm free now.